East Bay. And they did have an Apple store. So, of course, I had to go in and check this iPad Pro out for myself in person. And oh my goodness, this device is beautiful. I mean, they've packed in the pixels with the Retina display. And I mean, it's a huge display, but I mean, it really lives up to the Pro name in the iPad. I mean, it's a different experience when you're looking at, everything, looking at email, just going to regular websites, playing games, running video. It all really does look much more brilliant and impressive on that larger iPad Pro screen. So I was hooked. I mean, I really have to admit that I haven't been this excited now about an Apple product. I don't know, probably since the original iPad came out. The Apple Watch. I mean, I did break down and buy the Apple Watch, but, I didn't get one until after it had already been on the market for quite some time. So the iPad Pro, I did go ahead, after, having my hands on it for about 30 minutes and, testing out different things, including the pencil and the keyboard, the external keyboard that Apple sells, which is not for me. If I get a keyboard, I need it to be something that I can really type on, but I found myself having to do more of the hunt and peck method with Apple's keyboard. So I think a better solution for me is just going to be to utilize the Apple aluminum Bluetooth keyboard that I already have. I have an extra one. I'll just connect it via Bluetooth and use that as a keyboard, for those times when I want to do that with the Pro. But anyway, my point is after spending all that time with it, I decided to go ahead and order one. I was very excited to see that Sam's Club has the iPad Pro in stock, all of the versions, and it runs about $50 less if you order it through Sam's Club. They also have the Apple Pencil, which I ordered that too. I don't see myself using it for drawing, but I do think it will come in handy as kind of a digital notepad, for taking notes, like when I'm in a meeting on a conference call, instead of relying on the pad and paper, which I take notes with, might glance at them again once, and then they just kind of get lost with all the other notes in my notepad. I'm thinking maybe this will be a way to kind of create a digital archive of notes that will be better for retrieval. So I went ahead, I ordered the Apple Pencil as well. It's only about $5 less at Sam's Club, but very happy, that they are carrying it, and it gives you a little bit of an alternative because, the Apple.com, Apple Store, there's never a sale. They do one sale a year the day after Thanksgiving on certain Apple products, and the savings, are very minimal, nothing to even get excited about. So ordered it through Sam's Club, very excited. Can't wait for it to get here. That's the drawback. It's not available in the Sam's Club's physical stores. You have to order it through their website and then wait for them to ship it. And from the pace, it looks like it's coming to me FedEx ground. So looks like it's going to take about 5-6 days for it to get to me here in California. But I'm really excited and looking forward to getting my brand new iPad Pro. So moving on to sports. Lots of bowl games. This is bowl season. I should say, for sports, I grew up here in the Bay Area, the East Bay of California. Grew up in Berkeley. Started off in terms of football as a Raider fan until they went to LA. And, at that time, the 49ers were emerging, and it was easy. I mean, I just felt like the Raiders were disloyal, and I became a 49er fan, and I'm still a 49er fan, even though it's become very frustrating as the deficiencies of owner Jed York and the GM Tim Balke are becoming more and more apparent. I mean, to the point where I even have to question, is winning really the goal? Is that what they're really trying to do? Or is it just about, lining their pocketbooks with all of that prepaid season ticket and personal seat license money that they're getting for building Levi Stadium, along with having the Super Bowl that will be played there next month in February. But I can get more into my grievances with the 49ers on another day. For college football, went to San Francisco State University. At that time that I was there, they were actually winding down their football program. And, SFSU was really a commuter school at that time, and I think it still is. So there really wasn't any, on-campus spirit, excitement or anything around supporting the athletics at the school. So went to San Francisco State and then went to the University of Southern California, where I obtained my master's degree in communication management. Now, USC is a traditional great football powerhouse, and I was blessed to be there throughout all of Pete Carroll's years. I actually bought my first season tickets while Paul Hackett was still the coach. And I remembered saying to my wife, I don't know how much more of this I can put up with, because, what Hackett was doing with USC was just abysmal. But I stuck with it. Pete Carroll came on board. The first year, I think we only won 6 games our first year. But, the improvement was visible. And before I knew it, Carson Palmer was winning a Heisman Award and a Heisman Trophy, and we went to the Orange Bowl, and my wife and I flew there in support of our Trojans, and I was hooked and got to experience all of the excitement of the Pete Carroll years. Was at the Fresno State Reggie Bush game where he was running for around 500 all-purpose yards. I was at the Rose Bowl for the national championship victory against Michigan. Actually, this was before it was the official national championship. That came later, but I was also at the historic game in the Rose Bowl, the great matchup of the undefeateds between Texas and USC, and even though we came up short in that one, still it was easily the best college football game that I've ever been to, and will never forget the performance of Vince Young. And, my seat was located in that end zone that he ran into for the winning touchdown. And, for me, it just felt inevitable. I mean, it was clear that amongst him and Matt Leinart, Reggie Bush, Lindale White, Dwayne Jarrett, it was very clear that Vince Young was the most dominant player on that field that day. So I was not shocked or surprised. I was disappointed. I was pleading with the Trojans to figure out a way to stop him, but I was not surprised at all when he ran that keeper into the end zone. That was, like I said, it was an exciting game, and we came up short, but it was easily the best that I have ever seen. So I'm a USC guy, an alum, part of the, you're a Trojan for life, so that's me. But I have to say that since Stanford, after Jim Harbaugh departed and came to my 49ers and elevated David Shaw to head coach, I have to say that hands down, David Shaw is my favorite football coach in all of football, and that includes pro football. I like his approach. He's not an attention guy. He wants the attention to be on his players. He cares about the academics, takes pride in the fact that Stanford does not lower their academic standards or expectations in order to field a successful football team. He speaks openly about recruiting top-notch guys that are driven not just to succeed on the football field, but also driven to succeed academically. So I have a great deal of respect for that. His name is always brought up for every opening in the NFL because clearly he's the hot guy. I mean, Stanford plays a pro-style type of football, both on offense and defense. Strong, big offensive line, big defensive line. When you play them, you better bring your lunch pail because it's going to be a hard-fought battle. So he's in high demand, and clearly there are teams in the NFL with the financial wherewithal to double, triple, quadruple the salary that he's making at Stanford. But, he has consistently said that Stanford is the place that he wants to be. He grew up around the program. It's clearly a lifelong dream of his. This is his dream job. He and his wife love the area near Stanford, the Stanford campus, and he has said that he wants his children to grow up in that area. So I have a lot of respect for someone who is not just chasing the dollar, but is more interested in providing a good quality of life for his family. I have tremendous respect for Shaw, and I do believe that the way that Stanford has been able to get to 3 of the last 4 Rose Bowls and winning 2 of them, and tonight they just ran all over Iowa. I mean, that game was over before halftime. So clearly, what he's doing there, it works. And like I said,